Alright, so I'm going to do another video over this because I'm getting a lot of questions and a lot of students are kind of struggling with this. So our goal is to find the missing angle using properties of angles, and we're going to start with talking about the properties of angles in a triangle. So what I've got here is three angles and I'm missing this top angle. So the first thing we've got to get out of the way is if I take all the angles inside the triangle and add them up, their measures, if I take all these angle measures and add them up, excuse me, it's going to equal 180 for any triangle in Euclidean geometry. So just specifically high school geometry. Well, not just high school geometry, but anyway. Measure of angle A we've got is 28 degrees. So I've got 28 degrees plus the measure of angle B, which is X degrees. And then the measure of angle C is 54 degrees. So when I combine like terms on this left-hand side, I've got 28 and 54. So 8 plus 4 is 12, 5 plus 2 is 7, so 82. Equals, so X plus 82 equals 180 degrees. So what I want to do is I want to solve for X. So I'm going to subtract 82 degrees from both sides of this equation, and I get 98 degrees. And so that's kind of the premise, but you're going to use more than just that property, okay? So this is the first problem I've got. So anytime you see a diagram like this, all those letters, all it means is points, okay? So I've got D, F, A, B, I, K. They're just points in space. Really what we're trying to do is read the problem and find the missing angle. So I've got that DE is parallel, that's what this says, is parallel to FG. So if they're parallel, that means that the transversal through has certain properties, like vertical angles are congruent, alternate interior angles are congruent. We're trying to find X, but we've got this other part of this problem. It says D is parallel to FG, and then it says KL, this segment KL, so that's this big segment here, is perpendicular to, that's what this upside down T means, perpendicular to FG. So that means it intersects it at a 90-degree angle. So what we've got here is we've got the measure of angle ABC. This angle here is equal to 90 degrees. Okay. We've also got that vertical angles are congruent. So JLG, the measure of angle JLG, no, JCG, my bad, JCG is going to be equal to the measure of angle ACB. So I can write that in, so this is 70 degrees here. And then we've got another pair of vertical angles here. So we've got the measure of angle IAK is equal to the measure of angle BAC. So I can write that in, that's X there. And so if you look closely, you've got this little triangle in here, and I know that all the sides added up together will equal 180. I mean, not all the sides, but all the angles. So I've got the measure of angle ABC plus the measure of angle ACB plus the measure of angle BAC will equal 180. So if that's the case, I've got ABC, which is 90, ACB, which is 70 degrees, and then BAC is X. So then I can combine like terms, so I get X plus 160 is equal to 180. And then subtract 160 from both sides of that equation. And you get that X equals 20. So that missing angle was 20 degrees. Okay? So then we got a few more. Start off by telling us that HI, the segment HI, is parallel to JK. So these two things are parallel. So once we have that they're parallel, I'm seeing some triangles here. I'm seeing this triangle and this big triangle. And the fact that these are parallel means that I can tell that certain angles are congruent. So I've got this angle on the interior of the parallel lines. And I've also got that this angle here is X because they are corresponding angles. Okay, so that is the measure of angle JKI is equal to the measure of angle HIA. And the reason is corresponding angles. Are congruent. And corresponding angles are congruent only if you've got two parallel lines. So since these two are parallel, we're guaranteed these corresponding angles are congruent. If they weren't parallel, they would not be congruent. So since we're finished with that, I know that this angle is the same degree measure as this one. So these three have to add to 180. So I can solve it. So I've got 59 plus 61 plus X equals 180, which is the same as X plus 120 equals 180. So X equals 60 degrees. So that angle measure is 60 degrees, which makes that angle 60 degrees. So then we got some more. I've got this triangle, and they're really just asking us to find the measure of angle X. So that's the goal. But I've got this triangle here. I've got this missing angle down here, and I've got X, which I need to find, which is on the exterior of the triangle. So what I've got here is 69 and 66. So what I can do is add those two. And then the last one we'll call measure of angle BAC. Equals 180. So 70 plus 65 should be 135. So I'm going to subtract 135 from both sides of this equation. So I get the measure of angle BAC is equal to .45 degrees. So since this is 45 degrees and X and 45 are a linear pair, I've got the measure of angle BAD, and that's D over there. So the measure of angle BAD, which is X, plus 45 degrees has to equal 180, which is just going to be measure of angle BAD, which is equal to 135. So that means x is 135 degrees. So that big angle there was 135 degrees. And we got one more, which is oftentimes can be either the easiest or the hardest, depending on what you're looking at. And so if you're looking at this for the first time, you might be a little confused, but just take a second and think triangles and see what angles we can use to our advantage. And your solution might be a little different than mine, but should be pretty similar and should give you the same answer. And what I've found, hopefully you've had a go at it, but I took a look at this triangle first. So I know that this angle, 46 degrees, plus this angle, 33 degrees, plus this angle, which is, forgot to put that point in. That's H and that's J. My apologies. Measure of angle BHD is equal to 180 degrees. So 46 plus 33 is 79. So then I subtract 79 from both sides of the equation. So that gives me 101. So this angle here, this missing angle, is 101 degrees. So we know that 101 degrees and x are a linear pair, so they have to add to 180. So x would have to be 79 degrees. And that's all it is, okay? So I hope that helped. Just some extra work on some geometry problems, and looks good. Looks like some geometry. So I hope that helps. Take it easy.